Yeah, I had Justin on my show and I was kind of on the fence on flat Earth and he really like convinced me on a few things. That now and I wanted to talk about this on this episode because I've been reading a lot of like ancient texts, just about what the ancient peoples thought about the nature of the universe and our world and stuff and just the extraterrestrial contact they have. And it's given me a little bit of like, I still think the nature of this or I mean, it seems like it has to be flat based on, there's no, we can't
Based
detect.
on factual evidence,
Yeah, based on the
based
factual
on
evidence.
demonstrable reality.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm struggling with like what the actual model is for the universe itself.
Oh,
I
so
think,
are we. So are
yeah,
we.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
You have to remember falsification is independent of replacement, right? If I can
Yeah,
prove that you didn't steal the last cookie from my cookie jar because you're in Texas and I'm in Connecticut, doesn't mean I have to figure out who stole the cookie.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's obviously a great argument. I also wanted to talk about because I had never heard about this until I saw you on Alex Jones with Eddie Bravo, and y'all were talking about the nuclear weapons hoax. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of this. I tried to actually watch, I went back and watched that video and I tried to listen to the podcast episode you mentioned from I forget what it's called, 777 radio or something, or Raven.
Pro with two R's, 777 radio. But if you always
Yeah.
forget, everything's at flatearthdave.com. Scroll down and
Okay.
you'll see the nuclear hoax banner.
All right. Well, everybody, I have a very special interview to air. As I mentioned on the show on Thursday, I'm going to do this interview with Flat Earth Dave. We're going to talk about Flat Earth, obviously. We're going to talk about this, alleged nuclear weapons hoax, which I mentioned on the show that I personally had never heard of. So I'm interested to hear Dave's perspective on that. And I'm sure we'll go into many other rabbit trails and down rabbit holes, and it'll be a fascinating time. So, want to introduce Dave? You want to go ahead and introduce yourself and just kind of talk about a little bit of your background, your story, and how you got into this?
How did I get into this? That's a great question. I was a normal guy, growing up in corporate America, worked for corporations, started my own company, doing everything that you're supposed to do for the American dream, right? And then I started just looking into things, like that doesn't make sense. What is money? What is money? And I watched Money Masters. You ever watched that Money Masters?
I've
Years
heard
ago.
of that one. I haven't watched that one.
Yeah, and basically I'm like, wow, well, they never taught us that in school, right? And that's a theme. They never taught us that in school. Basically, they never taught you anything useful in school. History is a lie. Math is a lie. Everything is a lie, right? Death and taxes is a lie. Everything. It's crazy, right? And you think like, wow, so much stuff is fake. You're wrong. Everything's fake. Everything. Like almost without exception, right? People used to say, Dave, everything can't be fake. Tell me something that you think is real. I was like, well, Sully landed that plane on the river in Manhattan. Remember that? Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
fake. Never happened. It never happened. When
That's
you
so
look into it,
crazy.
yeah. So I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, addressing all of the false flags and hoaxes, from New York to Boston to Connecticut, to all of those things. And people started sending me flat earth stuff. And I was like, all right, that's a step too far. Delete.
Right.
I thought it was a joke. Then it kept coming. I'm like, you're banned. You can no longer comment. You're banned for life. And then it started getting really bad. They just kept coming and coming and coming. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then my friend Sophia Smallstorm, another researcher, excuse me, she's like, Dave, you have to look into this flat earth thing. And I was like, what? You're too smart for this. And I went in to disprove it. Right? Here's the thing. Who are they? We can talk about that, have done an amazing job at making us not even want to look at flat earth. Like you hear flat earth, I'm not looking because I already know. That's the definition, right? I'm not looking because I already know is the attitude that people have, and that's why they can get away with it. Then if like, you know what? Let me look. I'm gonna go look and you Google flat earth and you come up with this,
Yeah.
this. You know what this is? This is nonsense, right? No flat earther thinks that we're a disk floating in space, No flat earther thinks that there's round planets with a flat disc, or they're all flat. All of this is wrong. This is like red or blue. These are the heliocentric or this flat Earth model. Both are not real. So they're giving you a choice, left and right, same monster, right? Left,
Right.
yeah, left and right, same monster. Um, and and then all of this winds down to, why would they lie? What difference does the shape of the Earth make? I still have to go to work on Monday. You know what today is? I think today's Thursday. I don't care what day of the work it is because I don't have to go to work on Monday, right?
Mhm.
I work harder than I've ever worked in my life because I'm doing what I love, right? And how this has happened, it's truly an amazing journey. But truth is, well, the truth will set you free. There's something that's real. The truth will set you free. Oh, a real thing somebody said, whether he said it or not. I think that Roosevelt said the only thing to fear is fear itself. Is that Roosevelt? Fear,
Yeah.
false evidence appearing real. That's
Yep.
what fear is, right?
Hmm.
And when you understand that we don't live on their fake world, um, then you can literally unplug from the matrix. They literally have us in the matrix, right? The
Oh,
fake,
I agree. Yeah.
yeah, the globe is their ball field, and if you play on their ball field, you have to play by their rules. And
Mm.
the thing is, we live in a created world, which means there is a creator, whatever name or thing you want to put on that. That's up to you. That's your deal. Um, but nature is where you find truth, and lies are only in your imagination. So they have us believing lies, playing on their fake ball field, playing with their fake money, playing by their rules, right? Right? They're not allowed to make rules in our God-given world, our God-created world, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if they create their own world, they can make their own rules. And if we buy
Absolutely.
into it, so when you unplug from it, everything changes. I did it. Listen, I went in, tried to disprove flat Earth, and then finally I was like, "Was boats over the horizon? Oh, that's explained. The seasons. Oh, that's explained. That actually proves the Earth is flat. Star rotation. All of this stuff." And then I finally threw my hands up and goes, "Well, what? Why would they lie? What difference does it make? It doesn't make any difference." And if you get to that point, that's good. Now there's videos that will help you get through that. And then you'll be like, how did I ever miss this? One thing flat earthers all have in common. Sometimes some of us have different models that we're trying to work out. As you said before we started, you're trying to figure out what this realm is. So are we. So are we.
Yeah.
But falsification is independent of replacement. We do not live on a ball surrounded by gas, high pressure, adjacent to a void of no gas, scientifically impossible, floating around a gas ball in a space vacuum, again, impossible, in an infinitely expanding universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree. Before one thing you said that was interesting that I wanted to just get. So I agree with pretty much everything you've said so far. I hadn't heard that math was fake. So what part of math is fake? I'm just
Well,
curious.
no, 2 plus 2. Well, where now they want you to believe 2 plus 2 is 5, right? That's what they're trying to,
Yep.
they're trying to get you literally to that point. They teach you basic geometry. They don't teach you sacred geometry or vortex mathematics. You know about vortex mathematics? Go on YouTube.
I haven't
That's
heard
something
of
you
it.
can find. Just type in vortex mathematics. You'll see a guy with a whiteboard, right? And he talks about, it will blow your mind. Okay,
Wow.
it'll blow your mind. Tesla said, the power of 369, and there's like, when you understand vortex mathematics and you understand how this world works, you realize all that stuff they're teaching us is, I call it corporation math. They teach you to be a good corporate slave, right?
That makes
They
sense.
teach you
Yeah.
geometry. They don't teach you, about taxes, right? They just teach you how to pay taxes. They don't teach you anything about it, right? They teach you accounting too, managerial accounting, right?
Mhm.
And they
I
teach
took
you,
classes.
they don't teach you about, the stuff that really matters. Like how
Math that will set you free, in other words.
math will say, the understanding, the real math, like most people hate math. I kind of like math, right? But when you learn about sacred geometry, like what's sacred geometry? It sounds kind of spiritual. It's this whole thing about the flower of life and how all the numbers that they come together and everything fits the Fibonacci sequence, right? They don't teach you the Fibonacci. You know about the Fibonacci sequence a little bit,
I'm familiar with
the
it. Yeah.
golden ratio and stuff. They don't teach you this stuff in school because it leads to further knowledge. It leads to
Yeah.
further knowledge. So
So I see what you mean now. It's not so much that like the math that we've been taught is wrong. It's just that it's a much they're hiding the real math is
Let me show
basically.
you. Let me show you. Don't take any of this personal because I was you. You're probably
Yeah.
smarter than I was when I was at your stage. Okay. They teach us numbers: a billion, trillion, quadrillion, sextillion.
Right.
Right? What do those numbers mean to you? What's a trillion? How big is a trillion?
I mean,
Right?
that's what
How long is 1 trillion seconds?
oh, how long?
How
Yeah,
long
I
in
mean,
time?
it's
If you
pretty, it's
guess,
a it's a unimaginably
if you
large
guess
number.
it within a week, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
I mean, it's a trillion. I mean,
How
it
long
is.
is 1 trillion seconds? Measure it in whatever unit of measurement you want. If
Oh,
you
wait,
within a
like
week,
in
I'll give.
minutes or
Yeah, well,
hours or
whatever
whatever.
you want. You can measure it within days, weeks, years,
Yeah,
maybe. Want to
I
take a
really
guess?
don't know. It's such an astronomically
Take
large
a
number.
take a
It's hard
stab.
to say.
Take a
Yeah.
stab. Take a
Oh,
stab. Wild
I
guess.
don't
Wild
know.
guess.
A trillion seconds?
Yeah, 1 trillion seconds.
No. Uh, I, 10 years. I have no idea.
Very close. Thirty-one
Really?
thousand years. Okay.
Whoa, 31,000 years?
Now,
Wow.
so just let that sink in for a second. The closest star is 25 trillion miles away. This is what they tell us.
Mhm.
25 trillion miles away. 25 trillion miles away. If you and I were in a spaceship going a mile per second, which is faster than anyone's ever gone, okay, mile per second for 1 trillion seconds, we've traveled for 31,000 years, and we're only 1/25th of the way to the closest star.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm just showing you that these numbers and let's say we travel the whole way. I'm good friends with Elon. He's got a rocket that goes 100,000 miles an hour, right?
Mm.
It's only going to take us 28,000 years to get there. Okay. And
Yeah.
then when we get there, we realize, there's no life on any of these planets. Let's go to the next star. That's 100 times farther. It's like, what? Right? They dilute all of this stuff. They don't teach you about the law of big numbers, and your mind just can't process it. So when you understand, that here's the thing: flat earthers know more about the heliocentric model, which is the globe model. Some people don't
Mhm.
even know that it's called heliocentrism, right? The heliocentric model. If you knew a tenth of what we know, you would be a flat earther
Mm.
because it's stupid, right? My shirt says, "You're not stupid. It's stupid."
That's a good one. Yeah. What would you say are like if you were gonna encounter somebody that had never heard about flat Earth, what do you think like the top five best evidences are for flat Earth?
Well, everyone is the best, but we can see too far. You
Yeah.
can't have high pressure next to no pressure without a barrier. Um, all measurements of Earth are measured flat. All constructions flat. Bridges, tunnels, airplanes fly straight and level, or airplane routes. We can go over a couple of them if you want.
Yeah. I
Like
know
like
that's
what would be your best idea that would make you think the Earth is a globe?
yeah, exactly. Because it's like we're all, everybody starts with this premise that the Earth is a globe. And so it's hard to, but it's like, what is the evidence that the Earth is a globe other than the fact that that's just what we're told that we have? I think the first thing people come to is, oh, well, there's all these pictures. You can see the Earth, as a globe from space. So, that's usually what most people, I think, say
Right.
first.
Like
And how many people would have to be in on this? You're really telling me the Earth is flat? Like you're telling
yeah.
me everybody in the world is lying, is in on
No,
this?
no, most people aren't. And
Exactly.
guess how you become a teacher? There, yeah. Guess how you become a lawyer?
You have to
Memorize
get trained.
everything they tell you to
Yeah,
memorize, right?
yeah,
But
exactly.
what if all of that was all false information? You can't become a lawyer unless you memorize it, right?
Exactly.
So if you want to become a teacher and you can memorize perfectly, then you become a teacher and you just propagate the lie. The
Mm.
Rockefellers funded lies. So this is supposedly a picture from the moon that proves that the Earth is, that the Earth is a ball, right? This is from the moon, right? So
Yeah.
this proves it, right? Right, right, right. But wouldn't the Earth look more like that? Now I did this. You know how long it took me? It took me 30 seconds. My budget's zero. NASA gets $74 million every single day, right? I could even, put myself on the moon. Here I am.
Wow.
And I could say, all right, here we got two moons, the two Earths, right? So what does this prove? This proves that I don't even need Photoshop because I didn't do this in Photoshop. I did this in PicMonkey, okay, which is an online program, right? So that's the proof that we live on a globe, right? How about this? This is a 2012 picture of Earth. Here is the world map, and if we put that right there, so we're looking at that picture of the Earth, right? This
Yep.
picture of the Earth, right?
Yeah.
And we have to say all of this other land is on the other side of that ball.
Wow.
What does that tell you?
Well, it's absurd,
That's
obviously.
absurd.
Yeah.
This is impossible. They're lying. So NASA is showing us a fake picture of Earth.
Yep.
Can you trust NASA now for anything ever?
Well, they obviously lied about that.
They lied about that. So, but they're probably telling the truth about other things, right?
Right. Yeah, you would
Right?
hope so.
Right? Right? This is the 1972 blue marble picture. So look, we got Africa here. So wait a minute, what happened to all of that with all the other stuff that was supposed to be on this side of the world? Oh, check this out. So this picture was supposedly taken from the moon, and we know exactly when it was taken. But at that exact time, all of this part of the Earth was lit.
Hmm.
Okay. Well,
Wow.
we're looking at the whole half side of the Earth. Okay. What does that tell you?
Well, it's a fake image.
It's a fake. So now we caught NASA lying twice.
Right.
Right. We can let's spend the next 5 hours. I bet we can get up to 500. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
500,
I think
500,
easily.
500 things NASA lying, right? You know, in 1927, they showed Universal Pictures had this picture of the Earth. No one's ever been up to figure out what the Earth looks like. And then when NASA comes out that in 1972, it matches perfectly.
Wow.
Isn't that a
That's
little bit of programming, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Right. And then if you look at a map of the world, they you know how they tell us the continents are all the wrong sizes. It's because of the way they project the map. And these
Yeah.
are the dark areas are the actual sizes of the continents, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Yep. Right. Well, they kind of match the flat, our azimuthal equidistant flat Earth map. The
Wow.
sizes kind of match what we claim is the flat Earth map.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Strange.
It is strange, isn't it?
Yeah. I've seen others. I mean, I have watched a lot of videos on this, so it's like I've seen like the different all these like images that NASA has given us, and one from I don't know 10 years earlier, 8 years earlier, whatever it was, has the exact same cloud pattern as the one that they just released. Have you seen these? I'm sure you
Yeah.
have.
Oh, they're all different. They're all
Yeah.
different. Like look at this. What if I told you that one of these is not a real picture? Right?
Right.
It's not a real photograph. Is it this one? Oh, hold on. Is it this guy? Is it Jim Carrey? Or is it Morgan Freeman? Right? Can
Impossible
you
to
tell which one
tell.
it is?
I would guess Morgan Freeman looks like the most computer generated to me, but it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, they're all computer generated.
They are.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we're to the point right now where with AI imaging and just this is just a photorealistic painting. This isn't
Mhm.
even done by AI, right?
Wow.
And you've seen what they can do with AI now, with the talking, right? This guy's talking in real time, and Morgan Freeman is in Morgan's voice is following every motion and word that this guy's doing in real time. They can do that.
Wow.
So again, when you look at presidents talking, are you looking at the president talking?
Mhm.
Right? The rabbit hole is so deep. The thing is, don't be afraid. Once you unplug from the system, really nothing scares you anymore. Right? When you're watching the news, which you shouldn't, because the news gives you cancer. All right. Don't watch the news. The news
Right.
gives you
Yeah.
cancer.
Cancer
Um,
and
so
COVID.
let's say you're cooking dinner and the news is on in the background and they're talking about Putin this and and this and they could start a nuclear war, right? Now, most people are like, okay, I've been hearing that for a long time. But if you believe in nuclear bombs, every cell in your body is going, oof, that's not good. Every cell in your body is at dis-ease.
Yeah.
Okay. And but if you know that nuclear bombs are fake, and I'm going to show you, we're not going to go into it deep. I'm just going to tell you where to go. If you know nuclear bombs are fake, then you kind of giggle, you kind of laugh, you kind of
Mhm.
become like, oh, that guy's a clown, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can discount everything else that they're saying, and it's much more relaxing lifestyle, right? just real quick, we'll cover nuclear bombs are fake.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a podcast, and basically I say it's a college education. Don't send your kids to college. Pull them out of college. Rent them a house somewhere really cool, like in Cape Hatteras or some, just somewhere with some other kids, and have them do stuff in life, and have them listen to the Crow 777 podcast. 5 episodes, four. He does one episode a week or 2 episodes a week, one or the other. Listen to one new one, and 4 old ones. So they've got 4 2-hour podcasts, 5 2-hour podcasts every week. That's all they got to do. They will be more ready for this world than any college will ever do for them, and they won't be in debt. They won't have spent a friggin' fortune,
Right.
it's literally it's $8 a month, right? $8 a month. And the first half of the podcast free. You can test it out, and like, hey, I'll listen to it's a 2-hour podcast. Hour one is free for everybody. Just check it out. And it's Crow with 2 R's, CRROW 777 radio.com. And I say that, and I've been saying it for years. I've had people message me like, hey, we were ready to send our kids to college. We weren't feeling good about it, and we didn't do it. They've been listening to Crow. My son is starting a business. He's doing this. They're doing that. Like, these kids all of a sudden get life back in their eyes, because instead of putting them into indoctrination camp. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some good things you can learn. Like, you could, become a surgeon, right? Like an orthopedic surgeon. You got to have some training for that. But most of the stuff that they teach is complete and total bull crap, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you can cut some.
All right, but at my website, if you forget the name, flatearthdave.com, scroll down until you see the nuclear hoax banner, and click there. And there's 3 or 4 episodes on it. Listen, don't believe anything. Belief is the lazy man's knowing. Belief is the enemy of knowing, as Crow says. I changed it to belief is the lazy man's knowing, because you believe I live in Connecticut, right? I believe you live in Texas, because that's what you wrote down. I don't know it. You said you're at your mom's. I don't know you're at your mom's. Okay. Exactly. You could be under house arrest somewhere. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. But exactly. but we believe things without verifying. So verify everything that's important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, people just don't do that. And they just think, because like when you think about, I mean, one of the most common objections I get to flat Earth, like I said, is people are like, well, how many people that's impossible. Too many people would have to be in on it. It's like, well, I mean, not if you think about it, you are indoctrinated into this way of thinking from the time you're a child, and to the point that you will never question it. And it's like, there is such a thing as cognitive dissonance, that even if you're confronted with something that just does not line up with this line of thinking, you're most likely going to ignore it. I mean, you look at airline pilots, like, why do airline pilots not think about, and I know there are a lot of airline pilots that are flat earthers, why do they not think about, why am I not adjusting downward for the curvature of the earth? And it's like, I guess the answer they think is, oh, gravity just somehow magically keeps the flight at the same altitude, and I don't have to adjust downward, even though I was able to climb to a certain altitude. And it just doesn't.
Right. The SR-71 Blackbird, the spy plane, goes at 2,300 miles per hour. At that speed, with the shape that they tell us the Earth is, they would have to nosedive down. Ready for this? 80 stories a second. Wow. Or they'd fly off into space.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, at that speed, we're told that plane can't turn left or right, because it would break apart. You can only go straight at that speed. Wow. So it's going to nose down 80 stories a second. Wouldn't that plaster them to the ceiling? Wouldn't the change in, so forget gravity, right? Gravity's holding, right? It's going down 80 stories a second. You're going up, right? Your body still wants to go the direction that the plane is going. So as it goes down, you're going to be plastered against the ceiling. Forget gravity. Gravity is a whole nother hoax. Okay.
Yeah, it makes no sense, because it's like, you think about, because I think the explanation that we're given is, well, most people don't even call this into question. Most people don't even think about it, but it's like, oh, well, gravity keeps it in place, so they don't have to adjust the nose downward. It's like, you're talking about the same gravity where, like, you blow a dandelion and you can watch the seeds just float into the air. So gravity is not strong enough to keep those seeds.
The same gravity that could hold an ocean down, it could hold a cruise ship upside down, right? Yeah. There's hundreds of millions of tons of water in clouds that are floating, in the sky, right? Think about this. A cloud has water in it. That water is heavier than the air. Why is it floating?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it floating?
Exactly.
Why is it
Yeah.
floating?
Well, gravity is very smart, so it can select, what
Yes.
it wants to keep in
You know
place.
what I love? How gravity, gravity is mass attracting mass, and that gravity, all the molecules in gravity agree that the guy at the very center, everyone has to go towards him. Forget the
Mm,
guy that's halfway between the center of the Earth and the surface of the Earth, because he's not at the center. Everything has to go to the center, not
right.
towards the other ones. Right? Right? It's so stupid. It's stupid. You're not stupid. It's stupid. Okay.
It's stupid.
A
Yeah.
flight. This is a flight from Auckland to Lima, Peru. So here's Auckland and here's
Mm.
Lima, Peru. Why doesn't it just fly right here? Instead, it goes all the way up to Los Angeles and then all the way back down, right?
Yeah.
Auckland, Los Angeles, Peru.
It's so funny. My brother, I was talking to him about flat Earth, and he was actually interested. He didn't blow it off, off the bat like a lot of people do, which I was actually kind of impressed with. But he was asking about airline flights, and so I knew kind of what you're talking about here. I hadn't really like looked that much into it, but I just did like a simple Google search. What was interesting, the very first thing that came up was a Forbes article that was attempting to explain. The Forbes article was, why do international flights go so wildly off path instead of
Only
just.
in the South that they do. Only Southern flights. Think about this.
Mhm.
About this. Here's our globe.
Right.
Top half is the North. Bottom half is the South. Right?
Mhm.
Forget the green parts of the globe
Right.
that are not. So if you had any two airports in the north, so the equator goes around the middle, right?
Mhm.
Any two airports anywhere, and you're going to fly from one to the other, all only north airports. Would you ever have to go below the equator?
No.
No. And guess what? No flight ever does going from a north airport to another north airport.
Hmm.
Now, wouldn't the same be true for the southern flights going from a southern airport to another southern airport?
You would think so.
Yeah, but all of the long haul flights cross into the north. Why? Right?
You know what the explanation I was like, this just shows you right here. The explanation that the Forbes article gave was that, well, they have to go that far north. I almost can't say without laughing, because the circumference of the Earth is shorter up there, so it's actually a shorter flight. I was like, that's
Well,
patently absurd.
that's because Neil
I
deGrasse Tyson
got it.
says the Earth bulges at the bottom. Okay,
Yeah, well, I
it's
was
a
like,
pear.
that's clearly false. So it is actually a shorter route if you fly way up to, way up there and then come back down. I'm like, I could just show you. I got an orange out and I like drew it between 2 points. I'm like, the line between the 2 points directly is obviously much shorter if you flatten it than going all around that. I mean, it's absurd.
Buenos Aires to New Delhi, India. It goes all the way up to Amsterdam.
Yeah,
Flat Earth. Bam,
it's
bam.
yeah,
It's almost a straight line. They stop for some fuel, right? Right.
exactly,
Johannesburg to Wellington stops in Doha, all the way up here. Why didn't
yeah,
it just go across here?
exactly.
Right. Look at it. It's a straight line.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
Look at
very
this one is
wild.
crazy, right? There's so many. There's so many. This one, Sydney to Lima Pro. That's couldn't get any clearer than that. That blue line is the equator. It crosses the equator twice. If
Hmm.
the Earth was a globe, it would just shoot across the bottom.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make any sense. And it's like, why, in some cases, I think the shortest distance from, like, if you're in the southern hemisphere between, I don't know, whatever, two cities on opposite sides of the globe, you could just fly over Antarctica, but they won't ever let you do it because apparently it's too cold for a plane to fly over Antarctica. I think isn't that the explanation they
That's what
give the
they
pilot?
say. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they say. Look at this one, right? Buenos Aires to to Amsterdam goes up to Johannesburg. Look, what about this flying right here? Right, it goes all the way up here, all the way down. Now, look, this is a little off, right?
Right.
That but it's way better than the globe.
Right.
Way better than the globe. Let's see what else we have. Hold on, I got a whole bunch. This is what here. This is when you say what's the best one. Sometimes this is all you need.
Mhm.
Sometimes just seeing too far. We'll go over that. It
Yeah.
depends on the person. It depends on where their mind is. Because what I've discovered is somebody thinks that the Earth is a globe because of XYZ reason, and you show them 50 other proofs. They still think the Earth is a globe until you cover the one that's in their head. Look at this, right? Abu Dhabi to Tokyo stops in Auckland. right?
Mhm.
Look at that. It's a straight line, but it goes all the way up, all the way down. It makes no sense.
It really doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely am curious. I know about like the seeing too far. I always forget what the specific examples are. Like, isn't there one with like the Hawaiian Islands? Like you shouldn't be able to see from like the bottom Hawaiian Island to the
There's a
top one.
million. I'll go over that in a second. Here,
Yeah.
this last one. So Qatar is where the World Cup was, right? The Buenos Aires team won, and they have their own plane. So the Globers will say, well, there's other people in the plane. They have to stop somewhere else. They have to change pilots. No, it was a private plane. No, picking up no other passengers, and they wanted to go home to Buenos Aires, but they went to Rome first. Okay, Rome for fuel. Wait a minute, that's like in the wrong direction. Look where Rome is:
Yeah.
Qatar, Rome, Buenos Aires. It's literally a perfectly straight line.
So obvious. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so obvious. So obvious, right? And then
Yeah.
it goes. We can go on and on. I mean, there's emergency landings that are crazy. Look at this one. This is from New York to Fiji. An emergency. No, to New Zealand. The emergency happened right here, and they went to Fiji instead. Why don't they
That.
just continue to New Zealand, right?
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
look at it on a flat Earth map,
Oh wow.
there's Fiji right there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I hadn't seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. And my favorite, this is a favorite because it's such a beautiful story, is this one here is you had a going from Hong Kong, it was going to the UK, but it about 4 hours into the flight, right about here, a family traveling together, mom, husband, two or three small kids, mom died suddenly, weird, right? And she's dead in her seat, and they flew for 8 more hours with her dead in her seat. They didn't land. They didn't land in the 100 other airport possibilities here. They
Hmm.
waited until they got to Germany. I'm like, well, why don't you just go the next hour or two and get them home, right?
Hmm.
Well, when you look at it on a flat Earth map, this is what it looks like, right? 4 hours into the flight, they're over Russia.
Mm. Oh.
And if they landed in Russia, two things would happen. One, Russia would be very helpful, and that could spark world peace. Can't have that,
Mm.
right? And the other thing is, somebody like me or other flat earthers would go, why did you stop in Russia? Why did
Yeah.
why? And we'd be like, this is why, and that would be absolute proof. So they couldn't do it.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, so tell me about the like I forget the specific examples of like points that are too far away. I know there's one where like it was like a military pilot and he could see this mountain range like 300 miles away or something like
Oh,
that.
there's crazy stuff. I'll give you this is my favorite one here. This is this one, these all of these locations here are over 700 miles away. There's 50 miles of missing curvature.
Wow.
50 miles from this viewing point, from taking using the globe earth calculator, calculating in the
Right.
height of the observer, and the distance. There's 50 miles of missing curvature. These mountains here are farther away, and we can still see them. It's a little hard to see in this picture, but it's a high res picture. You can zoom in. The mountains are there. Everything's the right shape, the right positions. Everything is lining up. Now, you know what the Globers say? You know what they say about this? They won't even address
No.
it. They won't. They have nothing. They can't say anything because their argument is refraction. The mountains are actually below there, but they're refracting up and they're stopping at eye level, right?
Oh,
If you go to the debunking sites, they have a curve calculator. They say, okay, put in your observer height, put in the distance of the thing that you want to see. It'll tell you how much curvature there is. It's like, okay, I'm going to put in 700 miles, and here's my height, and it'll say, well, those things are going to be 50 miles. Probably it's closer to 60 below the curve. But then you take the refraction slider and you slide it over until it gets to zero. You
hmm.
say that's how much refraction there is.
Oh my God. And refraction is what? Remind me?
Is refraction is light bends up and stops right at eye level. It doesn't go higher. It stops at eye level to trick you into thinking the Earth is a globe. But you know what somebody did? They said, okay, how about 10,000 feet? How about at 10,000 feet? And at 10,000 feet, I want to look at something 24,901 miles away. You know what that number is? That's the circumference of the Earth. That means I'd
Okay.
be looking at the back of my head. And you can
Right.
slide the refraction bar over until it goes to 0, and then you know how much refraction you need to see the back of your head. So that calculator on that debunking site is telling you that you can see the back of your head. You believe
Oh,
that you can see the back of your head through refraction?
no, of
So
course
stupid.
not.
So stupid. Right? And
I mean that's like a literally a Dr. Seuss book. I remember where they
it,
could
it
see all the way around the
yeah,
earth,
it
see the back of their head.
maybe that was part of the programming.
Yeah, yeah,
So
could be.
here,
Yeah.
here's just this is I'm going to call this a simple, easy test that a guy did. But this is a big pain in the ass. One, he had to do it at night because at night it's colder, and you can and he's using lights and stuff. He's on a frozen lake. He's got to travel 8 miles to set everything up. So he's on a lake with a truck and snow and cameras and batteries and freezing his ass off, right? And so what he did is he got his camera. It's a half a foot off the ground, so as low as he can get it. And in the video he verified how that the ice was there because water at rest lies flat, and water when it gets cold at rest freezes flat. Ice is flat. Okay. So he put these 4 lights here at 8 miles, 7 miles, 6 miles, and 5 miles. Now it doesn't sound like far, but using globe math, this should be over 30 feet below the curve, 22 feet, 15 feet, and 9 feet. But for some reason, they've all refracted up in the cold, dry air at night and stopped at eye level to make it appear that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, that doesn't add up.
Nothing adds up. Like, and
Yeah.
stuff does refract up. Imagine that things refracting up from behind something, right? Yes,
Mhm.
light will bend when it goes through water or something, and something can get hidden, but nothing comes like you can't. Like, I got my fist here. You can't refract my fist so you can see it. It's not going to
Right.
refract up, right? And so if it did refract up, how come it doesn't go higher than your eye level? Why does it stop at eye level?
Yeah, exactly.
Why
That
does it
seems
stop at eye level?
a little too coincidental that it all stops at eye level.
Yeah.
It does not make sense.
It it's
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's incredible. And I'll show you another one. This is one I've been showing a lot. This is let's see, here we go. So out here we have this horizon, right? The
Mhm.
horizon is where the sky meets the ground, right? And now you
Right.
can't see any farther just because of the way your eyes work. Everything just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So, but with today's consumer optics, we can zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and we can see that something's going on out here just beyond that line. These are dolphins,
Oh wow.
and they're well past that line. So, are they behind the curve of the earth, jumping up, going, look at me, or we just can't resolve the water at that
Mhm.
angle, right?
Right.
When you
Yeah.
look, like, get a nice smooth table or a counter or whatever, and look at it and put some little BBs on there, just little breadcrumbs or something. Look at it, and you can see all of them, and then go down lower and lower and lower and lower. Get your eyes right at that level of that table. It literally becomes invisible,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's
Yeah.
happening here.
Mm-hmm.
The horizon's out here somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And these dolphins are proving it right here.
Yeah. Yeah. That was that when Justin Harvey came on my show, which is when I kind of really was like, okay, I think this flat earth thing might be legitimate because I was always like, you can literally see the sun disappear over the horizon. And I think in everybody's mind that makes sense. But then what you just explained, it's really just a matter of perspective. And that what blew me away was when I watched the videos where you could see the sun disappear over the horizon, and then with a high enough powered camera, you can just bring it back fully back into view and you can still see it above the earth. That really kind
Yeah,
of
I'll show you that in a second. So this is a little hard to
yeah.
see. I've got these little glow sticks about a foot apart all the way across the room. They're all a foot apart, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm going to lower down, and they're all a foot apart. I'm going to get as low as I can here. Okay.
Hmm.
Lower. All right. So in my depth of field, which is from where my finger is here, all the way to the bookcase.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Hmm.
that's that amount of space. But if we look here, from here, let's just go 2 feet to this one.
Hmm.
That's taking up, right? Remember, I'm only measuring to the bottom of the bookcase. So that's taking up like 80% of my visual space, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the other 20 are all compressed here.
Hmm.
right? So now you can see the difference between this one and this one. You can see a little bit. You can kind of see between this one and the red one. And then everything kind of just gets pushed together and you can't get any information. If that
Right.
bookcase wasn't there, we can almost call that the horizon, the horizontal eye zone.
Mm. Mm. Horizontal eye zone. Yep, that's good.
Yeah, not the curve eye zone,
Right.
right? So you have to understand that we're taught that the ground and the land come together, the sides come together, perspective, everything goes to point, but the back gets pushed to the front also. So
Mm.
look, the first two count up for 80+% of my visual space. And then there's 20 or 25 more of them here. They're all
Right.
getting compressed, 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 compressed. You can't count from here to here, right? They're all just compressed. And that's all you can resolve. It's how our eyes work, right? But you
Hmm.
can explain this to these anti-flat earthers that are out there 100 times. And then the next podcast they do, they'll come out and they go, flat earthers can't explain how the sun sets over, on a flat earth when we've explained it 100 times, right?
Exactly.
They're just
Yeah.
disingenuous.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, one thing that still I struggled with for a while is like, well, why would they do this? And then you find
By the
out,
lie.
yeah, why the lie? And then you study the history and you're like, okay, it actually does kind of make sense. Okay. I mean, I don't want to, you seem like you kind of have a logical way to unpack this. So
No,
I don't
I'm
want
just I'm just
to, yeah.
freestyling here, man. I'm following
Okay. All right.
right.
Cool. Yeah. So tell us about like
Let,
what
let-
we're,
let me ask
what,
you a question here. This cameraman, is he falling over backwards, right? Like cameraman's here and he's falling over watching the sun, making the sun appear to go down, or is that light that we call the sun just moving away? It's just moving away,
yeah,
right?
I mean,
It's just moving around. Let me speed it up a little bit. Where are
all
we?
right.
I have it. There it is. Um, it's just moving away, and it's going to just get eaten into the atmosphere,
Hmm.
right? It's just
Right.
moving away. We're
Yeah.
not falling over back. Now it looks like it's going down. That's perspective.
Hmm.
That's perspective, right?
Absolutely.
Um, so let me show you. This is oh I have to find another one for you. Um, this is this is just time lapse of the sun coming towards you,
Wow.
right? Is
Yeah.
that cameraman on a ball spinning towards the sun, or is he just stationary? And this
Right.
light, whatever it is, right? People, oh, that's not real. It's a hexagon, right? It sure does look like that. Maybe that's the camera lens. I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, and the higher you are, the harder it is for the sun to set. Here's a flight that was kind of chasing the sun the whole time, and the sun kind of just stayed there. It never really set, and it's a little hard to see. It's going across the north here, but the sun
Hmm.
never sets. I'll just fast forward, and they went from one side of the world to the other, and the sun stayed up the whole time. Now look, it's nighttime down here, but they can still see the sun right there.
hmm hmm
It's nighttime.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
What?
once you understand how the sun above the earth and how perspective works, then it's really easy to see it. This is the plane looking out, someone looking out at the sun. Is that, I mean, people say, well, the sun's below the clouds. Why are the tops of the clouds lit if the sun's below the cloud?
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. So again, the looking at the lights in the sky is you don't need to do that to prove the shape of the earth,
Right.
right? Here is we have a light on a pedestal, and then we have a magnifying glass because the atmosphere is like a magnifier. And as it goes away, it literally will set on a
Mm.
flat table.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
It's setting on a flat, it's not going below the table. Look, it's right
Mm.
here.
Wow. Yeah. That's yeah.
All right. And that's on a perfectly smooth table, right?
Mm.
That's on a perfectly smooth table. And the other thing is, this is another one. This is one. If we're on a ball spinning, right? I'm pausing this, right? The sun, you're spinning backwards. The sun would go down, 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 and it would just go all the way. It would never stop. Well, the sun
Mhm.
went down, 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 and then it stopped right here. Super cold day, super clear, super dry. On my drone, facing west, not over water. That's so it's actually really dry. And the sun went down, 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 and then it stopped. Now my friends are at the beach over here, and it's dark already. The sun went down. They saw it disappear from the bottom up. I'm still looking at the sun for 10 minutes. I'm looking at the sun. This is super sped up, right? It's sped up. Now, what's going on? Is it going down? I don't care if it's out of focus. Doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't have a solar filter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just going into the distance, it looks
It's
like.
just going away and its light can no longer push through. I'm just going back and forth over here. It can no longer push through. Let me ask a question. Can you see me right now?
Yes.
You can?
Can I see
What?
you? Oh, in the
No, no. Do
no,
you
no, no.
see me? You see me right here? This me waving at you.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's because you see the light that's bouncing off of me, right?
Right.
How can we prove that? How
Um,
can we prove it?
I don't know how we would prove that.
Well, we could turn off all the lights in the room and then you couldn't see me,
There you go. Yep.
right?
Right.
So the light that's bouncing off of me, I got all these lights over here. What's brighter, the light that's bouncing off of me or the source of the light?
The source of the light would be brighter.
Absolutely. So here is a spot in Aluja, France. We're looking out, and 175 miles away is Mount Canigou. You can't see it because the globe math says that the top of Mount Canigou should be close to a mile below the curve from this viewing spot. That's why you can't see it.
Right.
The light that's bouncing off of Mount Canigou is not strong enough to push 175 miles and make it back to my eyes so I can resolve it. But the
Mm.
sun on the flat Earth rotates from the Tropic of Cancer to the Tropic of Capricorn. Twice a year, it lines up with the viewer and Mount Canigou. And when it
Mm.
does, it's going away and it backlights Mount Canigou. And here it is in its glory. The very top of Mount Canigou, right there, should be almost a mile below the curve.
Mm.
Okay. So, forward here. So, the Glober answer to this one they will address. They'll say, well, the sun already set and the mountain is already below the curve, but the sun's refracting up, and the mountain, which doesn't have any light on the backside of it, is refracting up, blocking the sunlight that's refracted up. Everything stops at eye level to trick you that the earth is flat.
Wow.
Okay. It shouldn't say you're not stupid. It should say it's retarded. Okay. Because it is.
Right.
It's
It
so
is.
stupid. It's so stupid.
It's
Right.
like if you have to go into that much of a convoluted explanation.
And
I mean, they have to do mental gymnastics and backflips to try to make it work.
yeah.
Obviously.
And the amount of ridicule you take from people when you tell them the earth is flat, if they're new to it, it's like you kind of have to finesse them into it a little bit, just like start asking questions. Here's the thing. Anyone that's listening to this that thinks that I'm nuts, I have 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. All you need is 1 globe proof. 1 globe proof. Do you have my app, Paul?
I have it, yes.
You do. All right. Do you watch the daily video each day?
Not every day, but I watch quite a few of them, yeah.
Every day there's just a new video there. And I just say, just make it a habit of watch the video while you have your coffee and then go off to work. Do your thing. Just watch 1 video a day, because then it's going to get your mind thinking. You're going to start going, and then there's all sorts of stuff. But if you ever miss one and you want to go back, just hit that button right there. There's all sorts of stuff on here that Google's hiding from you, right? And the best is the frequently asked questions page, which is the question mark. You hit that, and these are all the questions that you're going to ask, and all of them are answered there. But you won't find those videos on YouTube.
Yeah, oh, I know. It's really hard. It'll take you like to the fake ones that are obviously absurd and kind of
Yeah.
discredit the flat Earth.
Here, you asked what was the best what's the best proof? Here's the proof that gets a lot of people. Let's say a month ago, a year ago, 2 days ago, a couple hours ago, you were looking up videos on how to catch a crocodile. Okay. Then you're like, what was that video I saw? And you can just go to YouTube history and type how to catch a crocodile, and it'll show you all the videos that have that in the title, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
That'll show you your history. Even back to, I forget how far it goes. I think it goes back infinitely, right?
Yeah, I
So
think
it'll
so. Yeah.
it'll show you all of that stuff. You can watch a whole bunch of videos from my YouTube channel, from Jaron, from Jaronism, from Globebuster, from a Taboo Conspiracy, from the real Flat Earth channels. You can watch them, and they all have Flat Earth in the title. Okay.
Mhm.
And then an hour later, a day later, a week later, a month later, a year later, you can go to your YouTube history and search Flat Earth, and none of them will show up. But propaganda videos that you didn't even watch will show up in place of them.
I'm
Okay.
gonna try.
There's your
Yeah.
flat earth proof right there. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. Yeah. But why would they try to hide it from you? Which also, I mean, it's a lot of the objections I get are if I just bring this up, just like, you got to look at this thing. It's not just plausible. It's actually pretty convincing. But people are like, well, how could that many people be in on it? And
It,
like, why
it,
would they even do this? Like, why would people go to such trouble to
here's
tell the whole
here's the
world?
thing. On the app, frequently asked questions page, right? Why the lie? Right here. This button right here. The best videos. The best videos. On my YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel, this is the top one in there. Laura Nina, Why the Lie? 10-minute video, blow your mind. Okay. She says it, this English woman, she says it like nobody else says it. It's phenomenal, right?
Mhm.
But there's all of these videos in here. All of these videos are mind-blowing. These are life-changing videos, right? Listen, you work hard to get where you are in your life. You did you worked hard. You're a lawyer, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I believe it. I don't know it, but I believe it.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe it.
Well, according
No,
to the
but
state bar's website in
yeah,
Texas,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
So you worked
know.
hard, right? I worked hard to get where I was. I had my own. I went through corporate America. I excelled. I opened up my own company. It was doing really well, and I walked away from it all because I realized this message. Not only why this is so important. It's the most important message out there. It's the most important thing out there because the foundation of all of the other lies are based on your ability to understand who you are, where you are, the power of your mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna start hitting the mute button because I think somebody, the neighbors, started to mow their lawn. But
I don't hear anything. It's good. It's
oh,
all
good.
good.
Oh, good. I wanted to make sure that wasn't coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's in a nutshell, like, how would you describe like why the lie and how they're able
It,
to, keep it? How are they able to get so many people to perpetuate the lie? I
well, it's
think.
not even that many people, um, they've really indoctrinated us into, like, don't take my ball away. Right. That's how bad it is. It's literally that bad. And try taking a ball away from a baby. That's hard enough, but a grown man, they want to let it go. And again, I said earlier, then try to take their nuclear bombs away. They literally cling onto it. So why the lie? Well, first thing is the globe is a prison for your mind, right? Because if you live on a globe, that's it. Remember the Truman Show? I want to be an explorer. There's nothing
Oh
else to
man, I went back
explore.
and rewatched that recently. I wept several times in that video because I so identify with his character. I hadn't seen it since I think it came out
Yeah,
in the
because
theater.
we're all Truman. We're all
Yeah,
Truman. We're in the Truman Show.
we are.
There's more, right? There's more to this place. I'm a believer. Now, again, anything beyond 60 degrees south, beyond the shoreline of Antarctica, is speculation because we don't have free access to go out there.
Yeah.
I think there's more land out there. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care if there is or there isn't. I think the amount of evidence that I've seen, the amount of stories from the past, the amount of evidence is that the world is much, much bigger than they're telling us. But whether that's true or not, they found 7,000 new islands last year in Japan.
Wow.
Google it. Google it. They
I
found
will.
7,000 islands near Japan. I have a hard time even understanding how that's possible. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, some of them small, 7,000 islands that no one has ever seen before. Where'd they come from? Are we in a simulation? I don't know what this place
Yeah.
is. But
Yeah.
we don't even understand what's in our Southern Ocean. Our Southern Ocean's bigger than all of the other oceans combined. Right.
Mhm.
And it's because we're not allowed to independently explore it out there. Right.
Yeah.
So, 1% of the people control the world, right? 4% are puppets, 90% are asleep, right? That 1%, I don't even know if they all know that the earth is flat, right? Because you don't have to know. Um,
Right.
so, I talk about the, divine law is the law of God, common law is the law of the land, statute law, admiral maritime law is the law of the sea or man's law. In order to convince a man to give up his divine rights, his God-given divine rights and their common rights, you have to convince them that they're not divine and created into a divine world. So if they put you on a ball, they commoditize you, give you a birth certificate. They say, okay, you got to work and earn this fiat currency that we just typed into existence from a debt-based system. You're living in a death-based system, right? Playing on their limited world, right? Overpopulation, a lie, right? Fossil fuels, a lie, right? The fact, the free energy doesn't exist. It does exist.
What about fossil? Are you saying fossil fuels like themselves, the production's a lie, or it's a lie that we have to use those to even, get
Yeah,
our energy?
there's free energy technology that's here. And the fact that it's decaying dinosaur bones or decaying whatever. All of the empty oil wells are full again, right? The
Right,
earth produces oil, okay,
exactly.
but we shouldn't be pulling it out of the earth, right? The energy is right here; it's surrounding us, and
Yeah,
you
so
can prove that.
it's the scarcity that's a
Yeah,
lie. We should
yeah.
have abundant energy. Yeah.
There's free energy everywhere. Anyone who has a drone, get a spool of really thin copper wire, pull it all out, tie it to the drone, get the drone up as high as it can so the wire's hanging. Grab that wire. I dare you. Okay, I dare you. It's full of electricity. It's right
Mhm.
there.
Wow.
And there's old world technology. I don't know if have you looked into the old world stuff yet?
I watched the
Old World Order. You can
Old
find it
Order.
on
Yeah.
my website. There's a big banner right at the top called Old World Order. Just start with that, and then use your own discernment. On my app, the Flat Earth Sun Moon and Zodiac Clock app, which you say you have. If you've updated it recently, you have two new buttons. This is a biblical button, and because there was so much biblical stuff, and then this Griffin is the Old World button, and there's all sorts of stuff here. Old World Order is right there, in case you're looking for it. Um, this guy is my favorite. My lunch break. Have you started watching him?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Okay. My lunch break. Watch it. You got the best shows and then the daily ones. He puts out one video a week, 20 minutes maybe, give or take. Watch it. It'll blow your mind. You're going to want to watch every episode. I think he's
All
just over
right.
100 episodes now.
I'm
Amazing. John Levy, amazing. I'm the Improbable Dreamer on Instagram. Just start watching these people and it will blow your mind, right? Don't watch this one though. Don't watch.
uh,
It's really
You're-
long. It's advanced. It's
all
advanced.
right.
Watch a couple of these first, and then
All
watch
right.
this because what's funny is some people a while ago was like, Dave, you got to watch this video. 5 hours. I'm not watching a 5 hour video, right? And about the old world, and then finally, as a bunch of people sent it to me, and I was doing something around 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, let me just throw that on while I'm cleaning up. Next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Right. Right. And then I did what I needed to do that day and I watched it again. I watched a 5 hour movie twice in one day.
Wow.
Okay. Right. So you got to watch it. And here's the thing, not everything you see in these videos is 100% correct. You
Right.
need to use your discernment. Okay. I'd say it's 97% correct. Right.
Right.
And so some of it's speculation, but good speculation. Some of it's proven, some of it's undeniable. But you need to use your own discernment. And you need to look and understand that, we're taught evolution and everything's just getting smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. And we're at the top. We're always at the top because tomorrow will be higher than we are today.
Mhm.
False. We're in the
Mhm.
middle of the movie Idiocracy. President Camacho is about to take over. Okay.
Yeah.
We really literally have the World Wrestling Federation at the presidential campaign,
Right.
right?
Yep.
It's the dumbest crap ever, and I think that civilization has its technology peak, bam, shut down, starts over again, shuts down. I think that's happened numerous times, and there's the evidence is mind blowing. So all I tell people is don't believe anything I say. Just go research. My app will help you. On my website, flatearthdave.com, scroll down to see a big picture of me. It says crash course. Click that button, and there's a whole bunch of videos there. Watch the first three. You can do the challenge that way. Normally, I say the challenge is watch the Bitcoin challenge, watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks, and then send me your proof after checking the FAQs. Make sure it's not there. And you'll be a flat earther. That's the problem. Or
Yeah, exactly.
go to my website, Crash Course, watch the first 3 or 4 or 5 videos, and then you're screwed there also because like you can't go and run and tell all your friends the earth is flat because they'll just,
Right.
go tell all your colleagues, go tell your next client earth is flat. Okay. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I might have told a client the other day I thought the earth was flat. We'll see if I'll
Yeah.
still see if I'm still her lawyer after that. I think
Yeah.
we're in too deep, in this lawsuit. So
All
I don't
right.
think I can get fired at this point,
Oh,
but
great. It's flat earth lawyer. Great.
I know, right? Yeah, so are we we're on the hour here. Are you is there anything else you want to talk about?
Anything else you want to, we can wrap it up, or what else, what didn't we cover that you want to cover?
Well, I'm kind of curious
There's tons.
because I definitely agree with, everything you've presented here. I'm kind of struggling to wrap my mind around how the rest of the universe works, which I know is a big topic of speculation in the flat Earth community. Um, I've been studying a lot, like you alluded to the fact that we've had a lot of resets, and I think if you study the ancient texts of, pick a civilization, I mean, the Babylonians, the Sumerians, the Mayans, there's all these stories of cataclysms and we have to start over and the earth is destroyed and all this stuff. One thing that I have really been delving into is because I think like with flat earth, most flat earthers, I would say, believe that the God in the Bible created the heavens and the earth, created the expanse, the firmament, created humans. I've been looking at a lot of these, ancient Sumerian texts, Babylonian texts that pre-existed the book of Genesis. And the officials, I'm starting to learn that the book of Genesis, I think, was actually put together off of these, like it's kind of like a paraphrase of some of these more ancient texts. And a lot of these ancient texts describe, well, like if you look at the word Elohim in Genesis, it's supposed to describe, we think of that as the Trinity because it's a plural word. But if you look at the true origin of the word, my understanding is it's like the divine ones, the powerful ones. That lines up with the Sumerian word Anunnaki, which is the same concept. So the stories actually all line up, and the story seems to be the consensus among the ancient texts that these some don't know who they are, but these extraterrestrial beings came to Earth, uh, engineered
Where
mankind.
where did they come from though? Where did they come
Yeah,
from? So
well,
remember we talked
exactly.
about
Yeah,
the closest star 25 trillion miles away, something you can't even conceive of, right?
right,
Versus maybe they're coming from just extra territory, extra terra, extraterrestrial means of the earth, extra
right,
terra, right? Extra land. Here we are. This is Antarctica, and here is extra territory, right?
right. Yeah,
This could be, if somebody lived out here and came to visit us, they'd be an extraterrestrial from the outer space, right?
right.
Right
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
That's physically possible. And then it gets worse. I mean, it could be, we could live in a world like this. But now, I'm not claiming any of this is real. I'm claiming
obviously,
this
yeah.
is, this is like,
Yeah.
we live here in the center here, right?
Mhm.
Here's our pond, and these are other ponds with their own suns, right?
Mhm.
That are in the outer space. So these are other worlds right here on the flat Earth plane, just hundreds of thousands of miles away, tens of thousands of miles away, not trillions of ridiculous and measured in light years. This is literally, with a decent, aircraft, you can get from this world to this world in a day.
Right. Yeah,
Okay?
that's true.
And
Yeah.
and what do you call a piece of the plane? A planet.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Plane, the word planet has the word plane in it. And
That
so
is interesting. I never thought
so
about that. Yeah.
there's in the book section on the app, if you go to books
Mhm.
and then you go to more land. Where's the more land? More land. There's some great books. And
Mhm.
one of them I love, the Iron Republic, great book. Also, if you search Iron Republic in the video search section, somebody read the whole book for you, so you can listen to it audio if you're busy. But this one, The Navigator Across the Ice Wall, it's
Mhm.
about that map, and it's a
Mhm.
story. It's literally a story about in the past people that used to travel in between all of these lands. It's literally the story of Star Wars, but here on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's
No,
nothing,
I've
there's
heard that.
nothing new under the sun, right?
Yeah.
And Star Wars is literally talking about here on flat Earth, going from pond to pond to pond. That's planet to planet. There's hostile areas, and there's they have this group called the custodians They're the ones
Mhm.
that allow you to pass, right? That's kind of like Starfleet Command or whatever, you know?
Mhm.
And they say that all the people that travel between these worlds, they are connected to the source. They
Mhm.
have this a connection to the source. Sounds like the Force, right?
Mhm.
It's the
Oh.
story of Star Wars, but physically possible on an enclosed flat realm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because you look at a lot of the versions of these stories from these ancient civilizations, and they obviously had very advanced knowledge of the celestial bodies that really didn't even like for instance, they knew what color certain planets were, and then that has been I guess proven by NASA more recently or other space agencies, which I know they lie a lot, but it's like in a lot of their ancient texts depict the beings that they would call the Anunnaki or some other whatever their language said coming from like the Pleiades or the Draco system or whatever. So like what precludes the possibility in your mind if you think there is something that these people could like
They
why
could
would
be
they
talking about other lands beyond Antarctica. They come
Mhm.
from the Pleiades, right? If you look at that map I was showing you with all the ponds, they have different names on them. There's
Mhm.
the one pond is called Mars and
Mhm.
Pluto and the Pleiades and they have there's all of these other lands and stuff. Now, yes, could it all be made up? Sure, I don't know. But when you look at stars, this is a star through today's consumer optics.
Mhm.
Is that a burning ball of gas in a space vacuum, which is impossible, hundreds of trillions of miles away? Or is this something else?
Yeah, I guess I never thought about how it is. Yeah, how would you have a star burning in a
Right.
vacuum?
So
That
what
would
happens if you have
never thought about
a
that.
container of
Yeah.
air in a
Mhm.
room that's a vacuum and you make a hole in that container? What happens?
Well, it's gonna escape,
It's
obviously.
going to violently fill and
Right.
equalize. It's going to
Yeah,
fill the available space,
yeah, of
right?
course.
So no matter how much gas you have, like a house full of gas and there's no air outside, I open the window, woof, the air is going to just evacuate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Except in space. In space, you could have so much gas that it will collapse and cause a star.
yeah.
So
Interesting.
here's the question is, as you're getting more and more gas, it's expanding and filling up the space. How do you get the gas close enough together to have enough gas to cause gravity to cause it to collapse?
Right. Yeah.
Figure it out because it's stupid. It's a stupid question,
Hmm.
right? But they want you to just, well, that's what happens. We have nebulas, and the nebulas are dust and gas in the gigantic, and they're constantly making stars. Okay, so you have dust and gas in a space vacuum, impossible, and the gas is collapsing, creating a star. If it's collapsing and creates a star, how come it doesn't suck all of the gas in? How come it just makes one star? When that star is ready, does it pop it out like a fucking gumball machine? Okay, and then the
Right.
gumball roll to its spot in the galaxy and park itself somewhere to work
Mhm.
perfectly like a clock. Right? Sorry
Right.
for swearing, but this shit gets me crazy.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. So what's holding in the Earth's atmosphere then?
It's enclosed. Now, if you want to go biblical, they talk about a glass dome over us. Some people say
Mhm.
it's frozen oxygen. I don't know what it is. I haven't touched it yet. I haven't, I've seen some images that should kind of show it's something. And in the 1959 Encyclopedia Americana, it talked about in Antarctica at 85 degrees south, they say the dome is 1,300 feet high. Why would they
Mhm.
say that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I mean the thing that gives me pause is that going back to just ancient texts from all around the world, it's odd to me. It seems too much of a coincidence that, like the Mayan story is very similar to the, I don't know, the Sumerian story and the Babylonian story and then the Indian story of origin of our planet and or of our, whatever, our humanity and the world. So a lot of them depict, that these beings came from Pleiades, and not just they show the seven stars,
Right
so
over
why
there.
and it could be, yeah, so it's like if it's on a plane though, if it's on our plane somewhere else, the same plane, why would they depict them coming from like the star system? Are they
Because
just
think about this. Think about this. You want to go
Mhm.
from one pond to the other, it'd probably be best to get up as high as we can and fly over, right?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
you're a globe earther and I'm a flat earther.
Mhm.
And where we have our pond and we have our local sun, and it's
Mhm.
lighting up half the pond in a kind of curved, it looks kind of curved a little bit. And as we go up, it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. You're going to see a ball getting smaller and smaller and smaller with a little light next to it. I'm going to see a flat Earth with a little light next to it. And we're going to go to the next one, and you're going to see that lit up part of the pond and the light next to it, which is their sun, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're going to think you landed on another planet. I'm going to say, no, he just landed on another pond.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Right?
suppose that.
Everything in the distance looks like a sphere. Why are all of the other planets spheres? Right? That's what people say. But in reality, that's how our eyes see. For example, let me show you. So this is I'm going to show you this is the sun or the moon. Which one is it?
Impossible. Looks to me like the sun.
It does, doesn't it? A little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Kind of like hazy. But in reality, when we speed forward here, we realize it's a train. And look, there's blue lights and red lights and rectangular lights, but
Mhm.
it all looks like a sphere in the distance.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry, I hate tricking people. I'm just showing you how easy it is.
No, that's yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that's how we see. So, when we look up at Jupiter, I see Jupiter. I see something as bright as the sun, just smaller, and I see little tiny dots next to it. You know what I see? I see a light, some smaller lights. I don't know what they are. We're told
Yeah.
we're told we're told that Jupiter is a gassy planet, right?
Mhm.
Reflecting sunlight, right?
Mhm.
How
Yeah.
does a dusty, dirty, gassy planet reflect sunlight so bright that it looks like that it's as bright as the sun?
Yeah. That doesn't make sense, obviously. Yeah.
Right. Although, it's hard to deny this. NASA, the ones that we trust so much, showed us this recently, right?
Mhm.
This storm is like 50 times bigger than Earth, something crazy like that, whatever they say it is, right? And these are their moons going by. This is from NASA. This could you do this in this is the splendor, okay? This is like stupid. That's from NASA.
Yeah. That's pretty bad. Now, could it be though that maybe space isn't what well, obviously space isn't what they tell us. So they're telling us, these liars, these elites are telling us space is a vacuum. Is it possible that space is not a vacuum and it's possible for a star to
I
form?
think space is water. Have you seen Star in a Jar?
No,
Google
I
it.
haven't.
Google Star in a Jar. They
Jar.
put sound frequencies into water and it literally creates a little burst of light. Looks just like a sun. Okay.
Mhm.
And if you listen to NASA, everything about space, docking, the Sea of Tranquility, ships, everything is nautical. It's all nautical terms, right?
Mhm.
And then if you've seen the Lunar Wave by Crow 777 Radio again, he he filmed a wave going by the moon. Now it's been filmed going by all planets, like a firmament wave.
Mhm.
Called it the
Mhm.
lunar wave, but it's more of a firmament wave, right? Now, look, that looks spherical to me. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, right? But it's not reflecting sunlight, right? They're all named after gods.
Mhm.
What's up with
Mhm.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. It is
And
strange.
how do they maintain their perfect orbits, right? The most accurate clock in the world is the sky clock,
Mhm.
but it's great. It's gravitationally held. You ever see the three body problem? You know what the three body problem is?
No, I never heard of that.
So, of course, they don't teach you this in school.
Mhm.
Um, you get a computer and you say, okay, I've got a sun, I've got three bodies, right? Three gravitational bodies. I've got two gravitational bodies and they're orbiting each other, and it will tell you what it's going to do from now and forever. But if you
Mhm.
get three bodies, this is just three of the same size to make it really easy. They start tugging on each other, and then it goes into complete and total chaos mode. And no computer, no supercomputer can figure out what it's going to do next.
Oh wow.
Right? That's three bodies. Add a
Mhm.
fourth body, add a hundredth body, add a millionth body, right? And
Mhm.
somehow, even with all these planetary alignments, everything is perfectly predictable. They can't model it.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
why? Because it's stupid,
Right.
right? That's the
Mhm.
three body problem. They can't solve it. But we have all of the planets and moons and stuff in our galaxy. Just no, in our solar system. Sorry. So our sun, a burning ball of gas in a scientifically impossible space vacuum, is
Mhm.
holding on to Earth. It's also holding on to Pluto,
Mhm.
but it's ignoring all the moons in between because the moons, I guess the sun's force on them is negated by its planets holding onto it. So our gravity from Earth is holding onto the moon, but the sun's gravity that can hold on to Pluto is ignoring our moon. Wouldn't the sun and the moon, as it comes around towards the sun, speed up and get pulled away and slow down as it goes around?
You would think, yeah.
You're trying to figure this out, but you can't because it's stupid.
Yeah, because none of it really makes sense.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
good.
yeah.
Just on the gravity thing, frequently asked questions page, gravity, all the best videos are there. It's electrostatics, and that's provable. Electrostatics are something that we can test, manipulate, repeat, scientifically prove, do experiments. Gravity, you can't do any experiments because it's a theory and it doesn't work.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, no, obviously. Yeah, I was sitting here just struggling. I'm like, okay, I think the lingering question in my mind is I'm having trouble seeing how it's more. I definitely believe the Earth is flat. I mean, it seems like that the evidence is overwhelming.
What about mountains?
What do you mean? What?
What about mountains? If the earth is flat, do you not believe in mountains?
Well, I mean, mountains coming off of a flat plane, I guess.
A topographical level plane, is that what you're trying to say?
At top of yes, yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Be careful.
So like I'm struggling with like why is it more reasonable to believe that all these other planets or beings, the extraterrestrial beings that of which there are just innumerable accounts, worldwide and throughout history that I think are very difficult to deny. I guess why is it more reasonable to believe that the those beings come from another part of this vast plane versus somewhere else
Versus
out there?
scientifically, the impossible space vacuum, Narnia
Yeah,
space
yeah.
vacuum.
Well, again, though, it's just like, I mean, couldn't it be just something altogether different that we just don't really understand, and it's
Sure,
not
sure. But
actually
let's look at Jupiter. You've looked and seen Jupiter in the sky, right?
right.
It looks like a star. It's way brighter. It's bigger. It's like three times the brightness of any other star out there, maybe even more. Okay.
Mhm,
And so they tell us that the Jupiter is 400 million miles away from us,
mhm,
right? They say the sun is 93 million miles away. Let's round up, say 100 million miles away.
right.
So the sun is the size of a coin held at arm's length, right? When we look at it. If it was
Mhm,
right next to us, it'd be gigantic. Move it 100 million miles away. It's the size of a nickel,
mhm,
right? If I doubled the distance to the sun, so now it's 200 million miles away, it would be a quarter of that size. So now it's the size of a pencil eraser.
mhm.
And if I doubled it again, so it's 400 million miles away, it would be tiny.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're on Jupiter and you're looking at the sun, it's tiny. It's
Mhm,
400 million miles away.
right.
That little tiny sun is lighting up the gas that's not reflective. And that reflection is traveling 400 million miles all the way to Earth, where when you look at it, it looks as bright as the sun. Does any of that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. Sorry, I had to go on mute because I guess it's my because I'm staying at my mom's house. The lawn people just
That's all right. I don't hear any of it. I don't hear it at all. You're on mute again.
yeah, there we go.
There
Sorry
you go.
about that. So yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I guess I'm just it's because I'm thinking it could be possible that these beings had some kind of technology to traverse vast distances, like so that you
Versus just go a couple hundred, tens of thousands of miles and just come over from extra land.
right, yeah,
Right.
which they could, yeah,
Once you
yeah,
understand, though, you can't have high pressure. We live in a high pressure world adjacent to a void, a vacuum of no pressure without a container.
yeah, yeah. No, you're right about that. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Um, yeah, I guess it's just I think that just the depictions of like beings coming from star systems, and it's so
It's so ingrained. Everything,
certain.
all of our movies, and our cartoons, and our books, and everything talk about that. They've been programming us. It's hard to let it go. But the truth is, they say the disclosure, everyone's waiting for disclosure, but it might not happen for a million years or 10 years or 100 years, whatever. No, it's here today. It's right here. It's right. Aliens, like an extraterrestrial could literally get in a ship in the morning, come over here, anally probe you, and then make it back in time for dinner with his kids. Okay? It could.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Right.
versus traveling 25 trillion miles if he's lucky enough to be at the closest star system, right? If not coming from our solar system, and then come
Right.
here and crash in Roswell. Okay? Stupid. It's stupid. FlatEarthDave.com. You can get these shirts and my t-shirt shop. They're awesome.
No, I love it. In
Conversation.
theory, you could have a Stargate and Tesseract. I mean, and
You have to you have to have stargates, you have to be able to fold space and time, and might as well get some spice over, from Dune, and you have to have all of this crazy stuff to live in a heliocentric world. Here, you just need an airship, maybe.
yeah, no, and I'm not saying that's evidence of a heliocentric world. Like what I'm saying is like I agree with your model that like the Earth is flat, like on this flat Earth. I'm just struggling with like what is the rest of the universe and like where do these other extraterrestrial beings that there seem to be a lot of evidence for and
They're
have been
extraterrestrial of the Earth,
of the Earth.
extra terra, extra land of the Earth.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, they're not
it definitely could be
extra.
right. Yeah.
Well, first focus on, understand what this place is, understand what space isn't, and then you can kind of, like that's the hardest thing for an adult man to do is give up outer space. We love outer space. Come on, it's the best. It's awesome. Aliens, spaceships, right? Nonsense, right? The secret space program is the secret propulsion program. And maybe we have ships that can go to these other lands back and forth super fast. Who knows?
Well, I
Maybe
mean,
tunnels.
if the Earth has a dome around it that contains everything and enables our atmosphere and
Maybe
all
it's
of
a superdome over all the whole thing, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's a way for us to get through it. I don't know. Again,
Yeah, so that's
maybe
what I'm saying.
just us. I don't know. It's okay though. It's okay to
No,
speculate.
I mean, we don't, neither you or I have been to, Pleiades or the Draco system or whatever. So we don't know what that actually is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still speculation. So we don't know if a space is a vacuum. If it is, presumably there could be, in the same way there's a dome around the Earth, there could be some kind of barrier around their living system. We just don't know, is what I'm saying. And I'm just struggling with like, why would it be more reasonable to assume that these other beings come from the same plane that we're on versus like another
Because
system?
that's scientifically physically possible versus this is what NASA tells us is going on in Jupiter, right? With this spinning storm, this is over whether it's a couple hours, a couple days, a couple weeks, it doesn't matter. I'm not sure what it is, but when we look at Jupiter, um this is these clouds are moving in different directions, but when we look, they show us the 2014 picture and the 2016 picture over 2 years apart, and none of the clouds have changed.
Yeah.
None of the clouds have changed.
Right.
Okay. So, you know, could it just be a model that they're using?
Yeah,
Right.
probably.
So,
I mean,
so you have to get your head out of space and you got to bring it back down here to the plane. This is God's creation. It's amazing. I think it's bigger than they're telling us. I think there's tens of thousands of more continents. I think there's other civilizations. That's me.
no,
But
I agree with that. I think you're probably right. I mean, I think you're
I don't know. Listen. I could be wrong on that, but it doesn't matter. We live here on this level plane. It's created for us. I think God
right.
threw down some amazing infrastructure too for us. These castles, free energy castles. I mean, if you look into the old world stuff, it is absolutely mind blowing. On
Oh yeah.
the old world section, I showed you that. Just
Yeah.
check out those videos. That'll keep you busy for a long time.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna watch some more of those. I mean, the old world movie was really eye-opening. I mean, I had heard a lot about this, so I'm trying to, that got me really curious in studying all these ancient civilizations, which I was like, it seems like, the Atlantean civilization was very advanced, and a cataclysm destroyed that. We started over. It seems like that's happened several times in history. So I mean, I definitely agree with. I mean, there's nothing I've heard you say that I necessarily disagree with. I'm still. I guess I just don't see why I have to let go of space because it could be something else that we just don't understand, you can't really prove. I mean,
You'll,
to me, it's
you'll,
like,
you'll get there. You'll get there.
all right.
It took me a while, Paul, too, but
I mean,
you'll get there.
yeah, well,
Yeah. But
I'm
here's the thing. The outer space is
Mhm.
more amazing than stupid fake space.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think NASA's lying. I don't think they go to space. I don't think they go to the moon. But I don't think that necessarily precludes the possibility that there are extraterrestrials from actual space. I don't know. I don't see.
What is space? Is space a vacuum?
We don't know. I mean, that's what we're
Is
told.
space a vacuum?
I've never been to space, so I can't tell you that.
So,
I know
so
what I.
like do you think that you'd be able to see a star at the distance that they tell us? Think about
Well,
this. The sun, the sun is if the sun was a mile over your head, it would fill the entire sky, right? Right? The
right.
size that they tell us.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
moving 93 million miles away, it's the size of a nickel.
Mm-hmm.
If
Okay.
we doubled that distance, it would be very small,
Right. Yeah.
right? If we doubled it again, it would be tiny. If we doubled it again, 8 times as far, it would
Mhm.
be a pinprick at best.
Right.
Okay. So 8 times as far, they tell us it's 8 light minutes away. 8 times 8, 64. We'll call that a light hour. If we double it again, now it's 2 light hours away. You think you can see it?
I mean, probably not, but I
Well,
mean,
hang on a second. Hang on. You got to follow me through on this.
all right.
So at a light 2 hours away, you couldn't see it. How about 4 hours? Could you see it? No, you
Probably
can
not.
prove that you couldn't. Let's round way up, a light day. At a light
Right.
day away, you can't see it. You can see Polaris, our North Star, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
They tell us it's 46 times bigger. So if we made it 46 times farther than the sun at a light day away, at 46 light days away, you couldn't see it, just like you couldn't see the sun. 46 light days away, that's not even 2 months.
Well, I mean, if everything, like,
They
why do we have
tell
to
what
believe that why do we have to believe that it's as far away as they're telling us? Because I mean, it could be more localized, but
how
so
much more localized.
I don't know. I mean,
So what are you saying? Here's the thing. I'm dissolving space for you because at at 2 light months away, you couldn't see Polaris. They tell us it's 433 light years away. Stupid numbers. Law of
right,
big numbers is that you can't understand it, right? Not you, anybody. Mine, our
right,
minds
yeah.
aren't trained to
Like,
understand
why
it
couldn't it be like 200 miles away?
because I can 200 miles away. Don't you think we'd be able to see something?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
So there's another
stars-
ball above our flat Earth or our ball Earth. There's a ball 200 miles away with
No, I'm just throwing that out as a number. So here's what I'm trying to say. So we both agree that we can't believe what the experts are telling us about the distance of these stars. I definitely agree with you on that.
right.
So why couldn't the star be, I don't know, 1,000 miles away?
So
And
a
you
thousand miles away, we have a burning ball of gas in a space vacuum.
well, why? I mean, how do we know it's a vacuum? But neither of us
Okay,
have been
so what do we have? We have a burning ball of gas in water.
in something. We don't know. I neither of
So
us have been to
so
space.
I'd rather look here and understand that we're here, we're contained,
Yeah,
and there's more here. They found 7,000 new islands in Japan. Okay,
yeah,
start there.
right. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, everything you could say is possible. I haven't heard anything that necessarily precludes the existence of space because it just could be. I don't believe the official narrative. I agree with you on that. I just think it could be something different and we just don't understand it. And, it just gives me pause that our ancestors, our ancient ancestors, all have a very consistent story that these beings came from systems like Pleiades and Draco and others. Why would they do that if they actually came from a plane? It just doesn't make
No,
sense.
because that's what those areas are called.
Well, yeah, but why would they depict the star system
Because
and say,
maybe that's how we see their sun that shows up in as a light in our sky in our dome. Their
okay,
sun.
oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that let's assume that there were, we had extraterrestrials on Earth from Pleiades. You're saying that the Pleiades that we see in the sky is actually their sun that they see from their spot on the
Yeah,
plane.
could
Okay.
be. It could be.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's
It-
plausible. And I'm saying everything you're saying is plausible. I don't disagree. I think it's still possible that other beings could have actually come from other star systems. I just don't see why that's impossible. And the official narrative doesn't line up, but couldn't the planets be closer, or there could be a
so
Stargate?
so
We just
there
don't know how that works.
there's ball planets and we're
Right.
a flat Earth.
Ball planet. Yeah, and that's what. Then I don't think that makes sense. And I'm not even saying the planets are balls. We don't know. I haven't been. It could be a disk. It could be whatever.
We're not. Just remember, we're not a disc.
Well, I know. I know.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you some time to think this through. Watch more
but
videos. Do your own research.
I will.
think,
Yeah.
think this stuff through. I listen. Nothing wrong with speculating, but
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Real quick though, don't we see what's the so is the sun and the moon, are they balls, or are that what is the shape of the sun and the moon in your
Do
opinion?
you have lights in the ceiling in the room that you're in?
Yeah.
What shape are they?
Well, it's a this one's actually a chandelier with bulbs coming up like that. Like,
So does that tell you anything about your floor?
no, and I'm familiar with the argument. Yeah, I'm just saying what we do we know do we know what the shape of is do we
No,
think
the sun looks round to me, but I don't even know if it's physical. I don't even
right,
know if it's a physical thing.
right, exactly.
I
So
think we see it in an apparent position. Again, Crow, 2 hours, 777 radio. He's done some amazing telescope work on the sun
mhm.
and the moon. Mind blowing stuff.
I'll watch it. Yeah, I'm definitely
Check
watch
it out.
it. So
Yeah.
you definitely given me a lot to think about, and we definitely agree on the flat Earth model. I'm just struggling with what the rest of the universe
Well,
is.
I don't fully agree on that. We're investigating. We know that
Yeah,
it's not a globe.
right. Yes, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Not the
It's
model.
clear. Like I can wait until the sun goes all the way over here, right, in December, and it's right there, and I can call my friend PK up and say, "Where's the sun?" And he'd be like, "It's right above me." I'm like, "What time is it?" He'll be like, "It's noon." Then I can
Mhm.
wait until it goes over here, and I can call somebody in South Africa, and I can say, "Where's the sun? What time is it?" They say noon. It's right above me. So
Mhm.
there is something right about this.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Like
I agree with
looking
that.
at this right now, I can say it's just a little bit past noon because I'm right here on the East Coast, and it is. It's 12:30.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah, I think that all definitely makes sense. I agree with you on that. So I'm just
I can call my friend up in Africa right now and say, "Where's the sun?" He'd be like, "It's setting. It's getting dark."
right.
Right there. Right. I can call PK up and he'll be like, "The hell you calling me for? It's 4 o'clock in the morning. The sun's not up yet." And I can get yelled at.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean it makes so much more sense than the globe Earth. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. So well, cool. Well, you've given me a lot to think about and research. I'm gonna continue to struggle with that question of outer space and what it really is. But
That's
I'll
always when we say outer space, say the
the
outer space.
space, the outer space.
Outer space. The outer space.
Uh-huh.
It's out
Okay.
there, right?
Right. Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
remember, every direction that you point is south.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, I know
You
that. Yeah.
understand that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
South
I
is
totally
every direction.
yeah, because it's Antarctica
Well, it's
for the
people.
shell.
It, south is every direction away from the center. So
Yeah.
east and west are circles, and right north's right here. And
Right.
so if I want to go west, I have to keep turning to the right to maintain my heading of west, right?
Right.
Because if I go straight, I'm going south, right?
Yeah.
If I go north, I'm going south,
Yeah.
right? If I go east and I go straight, I'm going south.
Right. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. So yeah. Well,
Yeah.
cool.
All
Well,
right, man.
thank you so much for your time. I've been really looking forward to this, and like it did not disappoint. You're a wealth of amazing information, and I can't wait to share this
And,
episode. So I'm
and,
gonna
and
release
just
this on
and just
Monday.
know that when the trolls will show up on their channel, they'll say
Yeah.
that I'm a scammer. I'm here trying to sell a $3 app, trying to deceive you, trying to fool the world. I'm dangerous. And then just go look at their channels. They have zero content. They have zero glow proofs. They will never offer a glow proof. They will say everything they can to scare you away from looking further. So it should actually encourage you to look further.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's amazing. And the app is really great. Highly recommend everybody please check out flatearthdave.com, get the app, and it is a wealth of amazing information. So I will air this episode on 8 a.m. on Monday.
All right.
So
Send me a link when it's up and I'll share it.
I definitely will. Thank you so much, Dave. This was definitely a pleasure, and I
All
really appreciate the time.
right, Paul. Thanks so much, man. See you around.
All right. Thanks. See you around.
Bye.
Bye.